So, when you book a trip, do you ever really stop and think about the impact you're having? We hear this term ethical tourism thrown around all the time. And yeah, it sounds simple. But as we're about to find out, figuring out what it really means and actually doing it is a whole lot more complex and honestly, way more interesting than you might think.
You've seen them, right? If you've ever planned a trip, you're bombarded with these words. Ecotourism, sustainable travel, responsible travel. They all sound great. But what is the actual difference between them? It's easy to feel kind of lost in it all. And believe me, you're definitely not alone in feeling that way. This confusion, it actually gets right to the heart of the issue.
And you know, what's really wild is it's not just travelers who are confused. Even the experts, the travel writers, the people in the industry, they often kind of dance around putting a solid definition on ethical tourism. I mean, that alone tells you just how tricky and slippery this whole concept really is, and why we need to dig in a bit.
Okay, so how do we even start to crack this nut? Let's break it down and look at it from two different angles. We'll start with how the travel industry usually talks about it, and then we'll dive into a much bigger academic view that really changes the whole conversation.
So the travel industry and many organizations, this is kind of their take on it. The main idea here is really about avoidance. It's about not participating in things that cause obvious harm. Things that support social injustice, violate human rights, or hurt animals and the environment. And that's a great place to start, right? The whole do no harm idea. But, and this is a big but, just avoiding the bad stuff? Well, academics will tell you that's only half the picture. They argue that to be truly ethical is not just about what you don't do. It's very much about what you proactively and intentionally do to make things better.
This view, it looks under the hood of the whole tourism machine. It starts asking some really tough questions, like, are the people working in that hotel being paid a real living wage? Are local people actually getting the jobs, or are they being outsourced? The money you're spending, is it staying in that community and helping it grow, or is it just getting whisked off to some big corporation overseas? It's about making sure tourism works for everyone involved, not just the tourist.
All right, so we've got all these pieces on the table, right? We have the environmental and social justice stuff from the industry perspective, and now we have these deeper economic and worker-focused ideas from the academic side. How in the world do we pull all of that together into one single, understandable idea?
Well, luckily for us, there's a really great model that does exactly that. People often call it the 3 pillars of ethical tourism, and it's a fantastic way to visualize how all these different parts need to work together.
And here it is. This visual just makes it all click. I want you to picture 3 big overlapping circles, like a Venn diagram. You've got one for social tourism. That's all about people, culture, and community. Then there's environmental tourism, protecting our planet. And the third is economic tourism, making sure the money side of things is fair for the locals. Now, real ethical tourism, it's not in any one of those circles. It's right there in that small space in the middle, that sweet spot where all 3 overlap. That's the bullseye.
And this is so important. You can't just pick and choose. It doesn't work to stay at a super green eco-lodge if the people who work there are underpaid and their local culture is being ignored. It is all about finding that delicate balance where being socially responsible, environmentally conscious, and economically fair all come together. That right there is the heart of it.
And this leads to a pretty major shift in how we should even be thinking about this. Ethical tourism isn't just another category you can select on a travel website. It's not a niche. It's a whole philosophy, a way we should approach all travel.
Just think about it for a sec. A company can follow every single law in a country, pay the exact legal minimum wage, meet the bare minimum environmental rules, and still not be what we'd call ethical. The law is the floor, not the ceiling. True ethical behavior is all about aiming higher than just what's legally required.
And hey, this idea is not new, not by a long shot. I mean, we're talking Plato, over 2,000 years ago, basically saying the same thing. Being responsible comes from inside you. It's about your moral compass, not just following a rule book because you have to. And that's the real spirit behind ethical tourism.
All right, let's bring it all home. After looking at all of this, what's the one big idea I want you to walk away with? It's this. Ethical tourism is a fundamental shift in our mindset. It is not just another label we can slap on a vacation.
First things first, we got to stop seeing it as just another type of travel. Something you list next to adventure travel or a beach holiday. It's not some separate category you choose. No, it's more like a filter or a lens that we should be looking through for every single trip we take. It doesn't matter if you're backpacking, staying at a luxury resort, or just taking a city break for a weekend. These principles apply everywhere, to everything.
And this, right here, is the heart of it. The source material explains this so well. It's not about just being a green being or a justice being in a silo. It's about being a moral being, someone who thinks about the total impact of their presence in a place.
So, when you strip it all away, what are we left with? It's a deeply human way of looking at our connection to the world when we're out there exploring it. It's about having respect for our relationship with the people we meet, the places we visit, and all the other living things that call that place home.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Look, this isn't about being perfect. Nobody is. It's about being aware and having the right intention. So the next time you travel, what's maybe one small thing you could do to bring those three pillars into better balance for yourself? What does being an ethical traveler truly mean to you?